Hello, my friends, and welcome to another pick a card reading. I hope you're all doing really, really well. And today's reading is about how to connect to your core values, or how to connect to your values. Now, the idea of core values are a set of 5 to 10 characteristics that make us who we are. This can be found from various different exercises. You can Google it. And then you can find it out. It's probably like an exercise that takes about half an hour for you to kind of get your basic values. But then you can also, I've also got a video where I did it on my coaching channel. And I'll link that in the description box below. And it's amazing because once you find out what these 5 things are, which, I've got mine at 5, that you find that the things that you connect to, like say friends, job, environment, usually they are in alignment, or they have the same things as your core values, or at least they have a good number of them. And once you find this out, this is very powerful, because then like when you don't get along with something, or when something isn't aligning with you, you're thinking, right, okay, maybe this has got different values than what actually aligns to me. And usually they say, or it's been said that when you align to your core values in every aspect of your life, you've got a really good chance of being able to have the life that you've always wanted, a really good kind of all-round life with friends, work, health, environment, goal, career, all that stuff. So what this reading is going to do is going to help you on that first step of discovering your values if you haven't discovered your values. If you already do know your values, this is going to help you connect better to them, or give you like an insight into how you can connect better to them. And I just thought it was a more empowering reading, because I don't know about you, I get a bit bored with like the kind of like pick a card subjects that are going on these days. So like I thought to myself, what is going to be something different, something aligns with my own values in terms of empowering you and doing these tarot readings, because I've been reading for a long time, but like, I get bored because I'm a Gemini. So I want something, and also I'm Aquarius rising. So I want something that's going to be new, dynamic, also something that's going to push something to make you a better person, and also me. So yeah, that's where I'm going with this reading. I hope you enjoy it. It's going to be really interesting because I've never really kind of mixed these two kind of things together so intricately, and I've never seen a reading done on your core values and how you can connect to it in this way. So let's have a go and see what happens. So you've got 3 piles to choose from. Pile 1, which is the Pulp Tarot. Pile 2, which is the Broken Mirror Tarot. And pile 3, which is the White Fly Tarot. So timestamps will be in the description box below, and I shall see you at your reading. Bye. Hello, pile 1, and welcome to your reading. So how do you connect to your core values? How do you connect to the things that really help you to find allegiance and alliance with what it is that you truly want? Let's see. So first of all, I'm seeing that here there are things that you would want things to look a certain way. The Pulp Tarot kind of shows us ideals of what our values would be. Things that usually would be obvious to other people as well. Something that is an outward reflection of what your values would be. Let's see what your actual cards, your oracle cards have to say. The Creator we have. Okay. And then we have Change. We have the Alchemist. Let's make sure that those those on camera. Yep. And then we have Pluto. We have Earth. And then we also have the South Node. So what I'm getting here is something from where you were previously. You want to kind of move towards something. You want to move towards something that would kind of align you with your values a bit better than where you were previously. You also want something that's grounded, something that you can clearly recognize as being your values, as something that you can truly align with. Pluto also says to me about a transformation, how things were previously and how you want to manifest them as something that would be truthful for you to see very clearly as your values, as something that would really show that you can move forward with things, and also displays itself as some kind of evidence, particularly with the Alchemist card, something that actually shows as a real tangible thing. The Creator is about us taking something that is unmanifest, something that is possibly an idea or something that we have not yet made into reality, and making it into that reality. It also might be a change that would be made in respect to something that you had been doing before, but now you want to really make it concrete, really make it physical in the 3D. So let's have a look at what the tarot would have to say about this. How does pile 1 connect with their values? Okay, so we have the 10 of Cups. So it's something that's going to align with your happiness. The 2 of Swords, reversed, and the Magician. So what this shows to me already is that you've got the ability to be able to do this. You may already have an idea of your values, of what they could be. You know what makes you feel good. You know what to connect to. Or you may know what it is exactly that makes you feel that you are in alignment, basically. Because that's the kind of essence of connecting with your values. It's when you're feeling in alignment with something. So you've got an ability to be able to make that happen. And it's also good to examine like what you have already been doing that allows you to recognize that. Temperance. When things are not in alignment, they cause you to be kind of imbalanced. And currently the way that things are going, there is this kind of disconnect. There's an inability to actually find out what it is exactly that you can connect to. So what it is here is we're going to try and find what it is exactly that you can connect to. The Knight of Pentacles. So it's something that makes you feel really stable. Something that you can see in reality. You can see that this is something that really works for you. And the Queen of Pentacles. Okay. So going from the Knight, there's still this disconnect, this inability to be able to connect directly to your values, because I think it's also like finding out where they are. So let's have another look with these tarot cards as well. It also seems like there's something that is all around, basically, the thing that connects you. So something that is family orientated, that is to do with your general happiness, something that you feel at home with, something that you feel complete in, something that you can communicate clearly in, because currently there's an inability to communicate. So it's almost like you are able to manifest things, but there just is this inability to do it in a way that you can see really clearly. It's almost like you can see the vision, but almost that because you can't see how you're going to get there, it stops you from being able to have that kind of confidence in yourself that you can actually get there. Now, with the South Node being there, it does also say to me that this has been an issue in maybe past lifetimes. With the Earth sign there as well, or Earth being there, it has to be something that's really clear. But this is also like a process in your own evolution in how you do this. You coming to this reading is an actual step in being able to manifest this. It's also in understanding how you change yourself in a way, or change the things that you're approaching in a way so that you can feel that you're in congruency, that you're in alignment with that. Okay, interesting. So we have the Knight of, that's the Knight of Swords, I think. Yeah, the Knight of Swords. So there, again, there's this thing of like not being able to communicate that clearly. The Queen of Pentacles again reversed. Okay. So maybe it's also the fact that there hasn't been a clear example of you being able to do this. And if there isn't the example of you knowing how to do this, then that you kind of like are left adrift in a way. You don't really know how to anchor yourself in a way that helps you to really get to what you want. And with the Magician being clarified by the Queen of Wands, you do know how to do things. There are certain ways of you being able to get what you want. It's just about how you can just make that connect. Okay, so now with the Temperance card and this being clarified by the Six of Pentacles, it's almost like things have to be on an even level. They have to be on an even keel for you to feel okay with those things that you connect with, and also with yourself meeting them at that space. So an example would be if you were with a group of friends. They would have to meet you on the same level. There needs to be like some kind of equal give and take for you to feel okay, for you to be in that friendship with them. Compromising yourself is not something that you want to do. You want something that's going to be easy, free, is more of a flow. You've also got Justice with the Knight of Pentacles, which shows to me that there needs to be time in order for you to get to this point. It also says to me that this whole journey of you analyzing this and looking at this is your own kind of way of being able to find your North Node, to move away from the South Node and to move towards your kind of greater purpose. The Ten of Swords with that Queen of Pentacles, clarifying the Queen of Pentacles, tells me that, oh, then that's not the Queen of Swords, actually. That's the Queen of Wands, the Knight of Wands reversed. So I'll come back to that in a second. But with the Ten of Swords, that's kind of saying to me that there's things that need to kind of be, you need to feel okay. That's the main thing that's kind of coming up here. You need to feel all right with things. It needs to feel right within you. And certain things are going to have to come to an end. Maybe things that you have allowed yourself to be okay with and you're not. That kind of, in a way, needs to go in the bin. You have to be like, no, actually, I need to start again, which is where we come back to the Knight of Wands reversed. This is something that can't be rushed. It has to be something that has to take its time for you to kind of see this through. And I think it would be really useful for you to discover exactly what your core values are. So there are exercises, I will link one in the description box below, about you being able to find out what they are. And once you really are clear about what you want and about what your values are and about what makes you happy, then that's going to help you to really move in a direction that's going to make that happen in all areas of your life and not just in one or two, or to get your needs met in just one or two instances. This has to be like a complete thing. Now, that's quite a generalized view anyway, and you need that. But specifically for you, Par 1, I think what's really important here is that you have to understand that you can do this. You are doing this. You have done this in the past. This is what you are capable of. You are able to transmute energies and to make them into something that really makes you feel good about yourself and about what you're putting across in this world and what kind of purpose that you're putting across in this world. You're an agent for change as well. So it's really important that those things that you're getting involved with as well, that they match what you're trying to change or what you're trying to kind of align with. And I think that that's really important. So let's have a little look at some animal energy. And we've got the hyena here. So what I see here, because it's reversed, it kind of says to me that there is, sometimes you're not going to be able to see things as clearly as you want them to be. So what you're going to have to do is get really clear on what you want. That has to be so imperative for you. You have to be really clear about what your role is in whatever situation that you are in, and then move forward. Because if you're not clear about that and you're not honest with yourself about that, then that's when things tend to go askew. That's also when the Temperance card, there's this imbalance here where you feel like you're compromising yourself. You want to be in a space where you're not compromising yourself, where you're just really clear about what all the kind of what all the factors are in this situation. So okay, so we've also got Carubiel, which is really interesting because, we've got all the 4 elements of the fixed signs there. I'm just going to double check what the keywords are for Carubiel. It's illumination. So the idea of you being really true to yourself, the time has come to share your light. Be unafraid to speak your truth, for there are many who will benefit from your message. So that's why it's so important for you to become clear with what you are doing and how you're putting yourself across, because you're so strong in that already, that if you don't set the right intention initially, then it could get confused and you could end up not getting what you want, which is when this stuff happens. So this is really important for you to take the time to be able to understand what it is you want, why you want it, what is it about it that makes you feel good, what is it about you, about this, that makes you feel true to yourself. This could be with a job, friends, a vocation, also to do with our partners as well. If our partners are not aligning with that and aligning with who we are and being really truthful and open with who we are, then that can also kind of send us askew. Some people can be able to manage that in certain aspects. They can work with that, even being in a situation where they don't know what is going on. But for you, it's really important to be super clear about what it is that you're wanting to achieve and what it is that you're wanting to get from this situation. Okay, and then you've got size, and then you've got discernment. So it's really important, for the size of magnitude, underestimation, and I think it's puffery. Yeah, puffery is there. So there may be that thing where you kind of overextend yourself and kind of compromise yourself in a way, rather than really kind of going in clearly and being able to attack something with that kind of clarity, understanding where you come from. And that's where the size needs to kind of expand, where you really clearly understand where you're coming from. The discernment, it will give you, being clear in that will allow you to be really discerning and to understand and make the right choices for yourself. From the looks of things, this is something that maybe you haven't been doing before. you haven't been very clear about what it is that you've wanted previously. And if you have been, then there's an opportunity for you to become even more clear, so that when you do communicate this with others, that they understand you and they understand where you're coming from. And it's also like that thing where I'm refusing to just take things and accept things as like, you know, take it for granted that people are going to understand where I'm coming from. It's all about becoming really explicit and really clear about where you're coming from and about what you want, so that you can create fully what it is exactly that you want. So I think that's the main message that I'm getting from here. It's about you really believing that your message here and your message of who you are is super, super clear, is you know it so fully, so that you will be able to express it in a way that will be able to be clear for other people. Because if it isn't, then that means that you tend to compromise, and that's not good for anybody. You really need to show your light, because people need that you evoke change in people. But in order for you to evoke that change, that argument needs to be really clear. It needs to be convincing. And the only way that that is convincing is by you being, as I said, really clear about what you are and about what you're doing. The thing is that you have the ability to do it. You really do. It's just all about refining that. So the main message I'm getting from here is refining and getting it really, really clear. So I think that's all I have for you, pile one. I hope that made some sense. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below about this reading. If you liked it, please do give it a thumbs up. Please do subscribe for more videos. But otherwise, do go ahead and do the exercises to find out your core values and see how you feel, and then maybe come back and watch this reading and then make an action plan going forward in terms of how you communicate your core values and who you are in those values with everything that is happening around you. You take care, pile one, and I'll speak to you really soon. Bye. Hi, pile two, and welcome to your reading. So how do you connect to your core values? So with the broken mirror, I feel like there's a sense of something being reflected back to you, so that you can almost see yourself in a really clear way in what you are approaching. So in your work situation or with the friends that you have, it's about them mirroring back to you the exact things that really kind of appeal to you in a really clear and concise way in order for you to connect with your values. So let's have a look at your oracle cards. Wow, the shapeshifter. Okay, we'll just pop that one over there. And then we have denial. It was reversed. So I acknowledge my fear, but I replace it with the insight of awareness. And then your astrology. We have Cancer reversed, we have waxing crescent, and then we have the third house as well, so communication. And then we also have the astronomer. So it's almost like you have this real vision that you see things, and it's about making people see what you're doing, what you can see, basically. The shapeshifter is you being able to move into spaces, being able to change, and being able to manage other people and situations around you. I do just wonder whether or not that though this may be a denial of yourself and about who you really are within these situations. Similar to pile one in a way, but there's more of a kind of being able to listen to other people and to be able to adhere to other people's needs. And what I am just a bit cautious about is you getting lost yourself in that space. Let me just move these down a little bit. Because you have a really, really clear vision. There are things that you see, maybe you want to communicate things to other people, you want to tell other people what is going on. You may be you may be able to plan things and see how things work out. But in order to get people to see your way of things, or your way of seeing things, you have to be really clear about how you see those things and how you can get people to kind of move within their own values to be able to meet you at yours. Now with this denial card, it's almost like I do get the sense of like maybe a little bit of like shifting. Maybe you think, okay, like if I change this, or if I change the way that I see things, I might get people to agree to what like I'm thinking. And with Cancer being there, there's almost like this, I wouldn't say inability, I would say more, it's just more compromising. There's more this kind of compromising to kind of make people happy about certain things so that they can see the good in it as well. And you communicate this in a really great way. It's also something that's very important for you to be able to educate people in a way that helps to see that the situation is also in their best interests as well. With the waxing crescent, it definitely feels like this is like a whole thing of you being able to be really assured in what you are communicating, so that you can come to the end result. But it's just this sense of compromise, that I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a very, very good thing. It's actually one of your main powers, considering that also that Gemini is a mutable sign. Geminis are very much the social butterflies of the zodiac. They are very much the ones who are able to shift and change their perceptions, or to change certain things in order to make everyone happy. But then here we have with Cancer, there may be some kind of like kind of compromise with your values. That's where the compromise is, and you don't want to go too far in that respect. So how do you stop yourself from compromising yourself, so that you can all be happy? Okay, so we've got the 8 of Wands. So there's definitely a lot of movement in the respect of communication. You like things to be done quickly and easily. And you often get it done quite quickly and easily. But there just needs to be, I feel like there needs to be like just a more structured element of care, that considers you a lot more. With the 8 of Coins, we've got 2 8s here. So it's very much about you creating this structure so that you can kind of move on to something that's greater. With the Astronomer, there's a really... It's almost very Aquarian in the respect of like having this kind of foresight that almost like others don't have. So to get people to like kind of adhere to that is the task. And when you understand people who can actually see that foresight of vision, or if people can get to understand you, or they can also see that, then it kind of helps you to move forward towards a common goal. And you're very hardworking in that respect. Like it's almost like, you know, if somebody tells you, oh, well, I don't actually like that about the project, or I don't like that about what you're doing, you kind of go back to yourself and you work on yourself and you think, okay, what is it that I can do? Because you want to come from a space of empowerment. But sometimes I just feel that there's something that can get compromised here, in respect to your own feelings. And then we have the Page of Cups. It's almost like you see that like a different perspective can almost be like a new insight to you. And it's almost like something that you haven't considered before. And it's interesting with the Hermit. The Hermit I do kind of, I feel like has got connections with Cancer, because it's very much that retreating into the shell. And when Cancer's like the idea of Cancer being kind of afflicted, they do retreat into their shell. So it's almost like you need that kind of sense of like rethinking a strategy, rethinking about how you can approach the situation. It definitely matches with the Shapeshifter as well. You've got the 4 of Coins. The 4 of Coins is, yeah, there's just this sense of consistent learning from your environment and understanding like what's around you. I just want one, thanks. Okay, and then the Ace of Swords. So yeah, very similar to pile one actually. It's all about clear communication. Because I think you actually really see. I think you're actually quite flexible in the respect to you seeing what could be the outcome. You know, even though there is a possibility, you may be able to outline like possibilities of things. And have like a kind of range of ideas about what it is that you want to achieve or that you want to do with something. You may be also like just open to the possibilities and just seeing what goes, like what like how things go for the ride. But I do also see that there is you know, you do need to be clear about what you want, because you're a very important component in this, and don't undermine like your own importance within this as well. Okay, so we've got the King of Pentacles here, which is clarifying the Eight of Wands. So it's just making sure that things are really grounded and really stable in how you kind of stand for things. Because when people have got like a really strong point to come from, they see it as a really good base. They see it as a really kind of stable ground in order to kind of project into all of these amazing ideas that you may have. We've got the Seven of Cups here. So this also may seems a little bit to me that sometimes people can be a little bit distrusting of the ideas that you have, because like maybe you might seem that sometimes the ideas are just so far out there that they're just like, how is that going to be even achieved? How can we even like get to that point? And it's about you being able to be like, right, okay, if you kind of come with a kind of standard plan or some kind of, not even a concrete plan, but just a workable plan, something that can be evolved and changed, something that can kind of be a journey as opposed to an actual like solid kind of like, this is what we're going to do. It's more like, this is what we could do, and this is a suggestion in the respect of how we're going to move forward with things. But yeah, like we're just going to work this and kind of like see how things kind of work out. And I also think that understanding that some people are not able to be, they may not be in that space. They may not be able to do that. They might need something that's really grounded and clear. Also, working with people, you may work better on your own. You may be somebody that like actually prefers to work things out for yourself and then come forward with some kind of suggestion about things. And I think if you're really clear about that and saying that, right, okay, I'll go away and think about that, and I'll come back to you, they'll respect you more for that. Even if they don't have the same values as you, but you will be honoring your own values by allowing yourself to go away and think about that and think about what is right for you, so that you can come with a suggestion that is right for both of you or everybody who's involved. So we've got the Three of Wands here. So the ideas do definitely like fill people with a lot of promise and hope. It allows people to kind of be inspired by you. I'm definitely feeling that they do get inspired with you, particularly with that third house as well, and the astronomer, because it's sometimes like that idea of like thinking outside the box. With this particular Three of Wands, it's almost like things in progress. So it's like sending things out and exploring different options, and that's very important to you. So I think that it's important for you to value that about yourself, rather than rushing into anything that, you know, that may be like, okay, if they need a concrete idea or they need something concrete, you know, you need to give yourself time to come up with that, even if it is just the start of something. And then you've got the two of Pentacles here. So yeah, it's definitely important for you to go away and to kind of assimilate some stability with yourself, so that, because when things kind of are not in that stable space, you know, it's difficult for you to communicate with others. It's difficult for you to put that across to others. So better that you kind of go away, restructure things when you're on your own, understand things, or come up with some kind of workable plan on your own, and then come back. Let's see what the other two cards have to say. Now, the Four of Coins is clarified by the High Priestess. Now, this is the thing. Like, I really feel that people just kind of get blown away by the ideas and the things that you put forward. And they honestly, I don't feel like they see themselves as kind of far thinking and like as kind of ahead as you are. It's almost like you're 10 steps ahead. So I think this is, with this energy of the Hermit and also the High Priestess, it's almost about rethinking and just, I also would say, not taking anything personally. Like, this is not about you and it's not about what you're doing. That's why I think it's important that even though you can adapt and change to other situations and how people are thinking, not to do it too much, like to understand that you can shift and you can change. But it's important to understand that your own personal learning and what you have to offer is very, very integral to how this thing plays out, and about how you can help people to get to that kind of far off position that you may see that they don't. Wow. So then the Three of Cups, and that's the thing. And then once you come back with that kind of clear communication, it's just so much easier for people to work together with you. And then before you know it, people are tooting to the sound of you and the sound of your story and the sound of what you're doing there, and things just really flow really well. You probably have been in many positions where you've been able to work that through already, but in order for you to do it in a much like even better way is for you to kind of come back, reassimilate yourself with who you are, with your values, and then come back. You know, it's almost like a trial and error thing, and it's almost like you don't mind that things change and that things are consistently changing, even though you're like working towards a particular goal. You may not even see that that goal is something like quite, you know, set in stone. But people, as I said, people might need to like have some kind of time to get to understand that. You may push people out the box and cause people to think in ways that they never have done before. So this is about you being able to take that time to allow people to come to that conclusion, and then get them to see things from your perspective. And I think the assumption that people will do that anyway is probably why the denial is there, because it's almost like, oh, of course people will be open to this sort of thing. Actually, they might not be. So it's useful to recognize that. Okay. Wow, we've got the Zebra. So the Zebra is that new thinking, that new kind of, the new perspective, the new kind of way of thinking. And what I get here is that when you're not able to put yourself in a way that is really clear, which we have with the Ace of Swords, to other people, and sometimes you may have to explain it in real layman terms to other people in order for them to get what you're saying, even though that might not be the end result of what you're saying. Like, for example, if you've got a particular project that you want to manifest, you want to do like some kind of artistic project or something like that, or maybe even like, say, like you want to build a house, for example, you want to build something or build a business. And this is what you want to do with the business. But essentially, like in your own head, you're thinking that this could go, you know, this could expand into so many different ideas. But sometimes that could be so overwhelming for some people and cause them to shut down like immediately. So, or shut down before you even get a chance to explore anything. So for you to be able to kind of really get them to agree to you in a way is by you becoming really kind of stable with your own idea, understanding that they can only think within their own kind of box, their own paradigm, and then just pushing that slowly so that they can explore that in the way that you can. It's almost like getting people to understand where you're coming from, getting them to see things from your perspective a bit more, because you're so able to like see things from other people's perspective. So that's, and when you meet people that can do that and do that really easily, that's how you know that they're congruent with your own values. So you've got two angel cards here. You've got Camael and you've got Zachael. Wow. So, I mean, even with this kind of like peacock energy, I'm getting the sense that you come out like a bright light. And also we have all the beautiful colors of the peacock here, and we have this. So it could be like this whole sense of so many different possibilities that would happen with an idea. But some people just get a little bit scared from that. And I just feel like they shut you down. So for you to be able to like understand that is about you coming away from it, like putting something out there, then coming back, then going back to yourself, going back to the drawing board and thinking about like, how can I approach this in the best kind of possible way, and then being able to kind of move forward. Zachariel is about graceful surrender. So it's almost like the initial idea of when you're putting this across to them and across to people, it's only temporary. Like if they say no, or if they come to you with questions and say, how is this going to happen? How is this going to manifest? How are we going to work this out? I don't think that we could do this. I don't know how we could do this. I don't see the potential of this. I don't see how we could move forward with this. We have to do it a different way. And it's about you kind of moving back, surrendering. Yep, they've got these fears. You understand that. And it's about you coming back. And then when we look and kind of working within yourself about how, also seeing it from their perspective as well, which I really think that it's like an almost gift of yours, of you being able to do, because of this shapeshifter card, you're able to do that. But it's almost like don't do it in the moment. You know, it happens very quickly. You may be able to get to that point where you can do it in the moment, but I think like to kind of make that even better, it almost seems like this Hermit card is telling me that down the road, and also with this Two of Pentacles, down the road, there may still be some kind of like shaky kind of blocks that need to be kind of really cemented in with that Hermit card, coming back to yourself and understanding, okay, these are the points where people could trip me up, or where people could ask me questions, where things could trip me up. So how can I make that really stable so that I come from a really strong place, even though I'm willing to be flexible? Now with Camiel, it's justice, one who sees God. So it's this thing where integrity has got to be so clear. Like you've got to understand, your integrity has got to be so on display. It's got to be really clear about what you're doing with people, and that you're open to ideas, you're open to things, you're able to see things from a higher perspective, to see what the long game is. This is very much about long-term perspective as opposed to like short-term things. And the people that you may be dealing with might be only thinking about their short-term kind of obstacles. And then you've got matrimony. And then you've got no. Now, I mean, like with the no card, I'm just getting the sense that you know that these things are going to work. It's almost like when you put the idea across, you almost know already. This is how it's going to work. It's going to work. Of course it's going to work. It's always going to work out. It's going to be something that, you know, I feel confident in being able to put that across. But others aren't going to be able to see that, and they're not going to be able to meet you in that way. That's what I think what is happening. So in order for you to make sure that you're connecting with people that see you in that way, it's about you coming back to yourself and being really clear and really stable that where you're coming from is from a really grounded sense. It's coming from this King of Pentacles. It's coming from somewhere that you know that you're so sure about where you're coming from that it doesn't matter where this grows. You know, it's almost like planting a seed, and you know, unless you train the tree to like go in a certain direction, it won't go in that direction. But then sometimes you may even be like, I don't really, it doesn't matter. The tree's going to go up. So it doesn't matter like how it grows and how it grows up, or how it grows into the tree. It's still going to be a beautiful tree. And some people might be like, no, I want it to grow like upwards in this way. And like kind of getting them to understand you in a way, and getting them to understand that, you know, there isn't just one way of thinking of things, and there isn't just one way of approaching things. There's many multitudes of different ways, and opening their minds up to being more flexible in that sense. So pile 2. I hope that made some sense. Really interesting. If you liked it, please do give it a thumbs up. Please do let me know in the comments what you thought of this reading. And please do check out the exercise in the description box about finding out your core values. Maybe see what your core values are, and then come and revisit this reading and seeing how that resonates with you. But otherwise, good luck with connecting. And yeah, I'll speak to you soon. Take care, and lots of love. See you in future readings. Bye. Hi, Pile 3, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the White Fly Tarot. Now, what I'm getting from here is that things need to be really clear. They need to be concise. They need to, like, you need to, people need to see things, and others need to see things in a way that can kind of really make it clear. It just needs to be, there's a lot of clarity that is coming up. Because sometimes the ideas that you have and what it is that you want to put across, again, might not be seen, similar to group 2, like may not be seen in the way that you're perceiving it. But also it may seem very obvious to you about what's going on. And it's almost like wondering, like, why can't they see what I'm seeing? So let's have a deeper look with your oracle cards. Wow, the River. It comes from a very pure place. It's almost like I get this sense of you know, wanting all of these kind of like, you're kind of wanting everyone to kind of come together and kind of converge. But it's quite difficult to get them to get to that point because obviously they're not coming from that point, or the people that you're dealing with are not coming from that point. So how do you get everyone to kind of come together and really kind of fully understand what it is that you're kind of getting to or are on about? We have Sagittarius. Okay, that definitely makes sense. And then you also have Chiron. Yeah, definitely. I saw that. So it definitely is about you trying to get people to come together and trying to see that what is going on is actually in their best interest. Wow, the Enchanter. Okay. You may be storytellers, Pile 3. You may be people that are able to kind of relay your own experiences and able to educate people, particularly about what you've been through and about what you've done, and help others to understand that this could be something that's very beneficial for them. So let's have another look. Oh, that card will do later. And you've got another one as well, and we've got Fire, right? So yeah, this trailblazer energy. And interesting because we've got the River as well. So there's almost like there's this real need and real want to get people to see things, to get people to understand that what you're doing is really for the good of everyone, is really for the good of expanding things for people themselves and also for yourself. And it's also got to be really important for you to put yourself across in that way. Doubt reversed. Okay, I released the need to know all the answers. So I think here what the thing is that that's stopping you from connecting to your core values is that you're doubting yourself. You're doubting if whether or not what you have is important. Now it's interesting because the theme is similar to all of the readings, but just in very, very different ways. Already I got, even though we have like quite an abundance of like or we've got like quite strong fire here, there is something that tells me that you really want to speak to the ideals of people. You want to speak to the emotions of people, to get them to feel and to understand that they're capable of this too. You're very, very inspiring, Pile 3, similar to like Pile 2. Very, very inspiring. So let's see what the cards have to say about connecting to your core values. Okay, so we've got the Two of Wands. We've got Judgment. Again, lots of fire. Mars and Aries as well. King of Wands. More fire. More fire. Then we've got Jupiter and Capricorn with the Two of Pentacles. That came up for Pile 2 as well. In the same position, I might add, but it came up reversed. So King of Pentacles again. Right. Let's see what's going on here. And Strength. Okay. Right. It's so important for you to make sure that you are speaking your truth. that you are able to communicate yourself in a loving way, but also in the right way, and also in the right way that is right for you. Because it can be also sometimes seen that, you know, you are enforcing your opinion on others. And when people see that of you, they might think, you know, it disempowers you, because you're thinking, no, that isn't what I wanted at all. I actually wanted people just to like kind of understand that I've been through a lot and I've got a lot of experience. And to kind of understand that what I'm doing is trying to help them as well, helping them understand themselves. And sometimes that doubt can kind of like come out as this quick King of Wands being quite aggressive and enforcing with opinions, saying that this is what, you know, I think people misunderstand you, Pile 3. I feel like they don't fully understand your heart, and they don't understand where you're coming from, and they don't understand that you're trying to bring everyone together in a way that kind of is good for everyone. But then when people kind of confront you with that, it's almost like, wow, that isn't what I really wanted to do. I actually wanted to kind of show people that I am coming from a stable place of experience. You know, you've got 2 kings here, so it's almost like you end up kind of being affronted with people who are stable, or who believe that they are stable. But actually what happens is that their instability almost mirrors on you, and then it tries to destabilize you and causes this kind of like lack in strength. But if I'm honest though, you are coming from like a really strong place of knowing who you are. It's just almost what happens is that because you know, it's almost like you know your values really well, and you know what you want really well, and that intimidates people. It almost brings out people's shadows. They can't see it, and then they get scared, and they're like, oh no, there must be something wrong here. And you manage it really well, Pile 3. You actually really, you know, you understand this. It's almost like, I would say probably group 3 out of all of the groups, you may already know what your values are, and you may already work with them. But then it's almost like kind of getting other people to see that, and getting other people to see where you're coming from. How do you do that without compromising yourself, without you know, how do you get them to see that, you know, you've got their best interests at heart? Yeah, really powerful. Like, we've got like the Queen of Pentacles here. You just really are coming from such a strong place. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this is the pile that actually know what their values are. You could probably like run them off. You probably don't need to do the the exercise. But and you're also really good at communicating that, or not even communicating it, but more so standing in the place where people can actually see it when they look at you. And they see you as someone exceptionally stable. And you may even work with people who are like really, really stable. But as I said again, what happens is that because of your stability and because of your passion and your drive, and also there's a sense of you approaching things in a really new and dynamic way, it seems to kind of, it really kind of shakes them. It makes people question themselves, and then you think, can I do this? Like, should I be doing this? And that's where the doubt is coming in. Or should I just go somewhere else, you know? But I think it's also really important for you to be in contact with these really strong people, because it helps you to gain strength as well. It's a real calling. It's a real calling for you to like be with these strong personalities. The Hermit, wow. So there's a lot of introspective work that's going on. I feel though in this case, when I mean that like the last group had the Hermit as well. But in this respect, I feel like you've done the inner work, and inner work is never over. It's always an ongoing process, but you've already done so much that has put you in such a strong, stable position. And I wouldn't be surprised if this also came from a position where you weren't stable, and you were like, I wasn't, you know, I was this King of Wands reversed. I was somebody who was like enforcing my opinions on people and not really knowing exactly where I came from. But now you're in a position where you're like, actually coming from a place where you seem stable, and you know like what it's like to be unstable, or to think that you are stable but you're not. So what you're doing is you're trying to put this across to other people, but then in the end people are like, what makes them so much of a authority on this. And, you know, you have the patience to be able to kind of understand where they're coming from, and kind of, you know, allow yourself to kind of step back and be like, okay, how can I, it's not even how you can change. It's more how can I, just giving them enough time to really come around to your way of thinking. That's what I'm feeling here. And you do that with the Enchanted. We've got Temperance upright. See, this is the thing. I just really feel like we had Temperance reversed for the first pile. So I do feel my pile threes, they're the ones who kind of like really have, they really understand themselves in a really special way. And they also understand what the balance is. It kind of reaffirms like this thing of where you were in that position. It's almost that you can see how others were and where they're not, where they want to be. And that's why the river is there, because you kind of want to bring everyone together. You want to bring those aspects of your own personal experience into healing, and also being able to bring people together. But people, they just sometimes they're just not ready to see that yet. And or maybe it's even you coming in contact with these people so that they can see where they're not yet, so that they can go back and do the work that they need to. And you have the patience for this. You really do. It's something very special. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys are like, you know, counselors or coaches or something like that. Two of Cups, you know, the give and take of a relationship. It's really interesting. Like, you know, the give and take of how you enter a relationship, that, you know, you've been through a lot, that you've done a lot, that you've gone through this journey that they're probably about to go on, or that you can see that they're going on. You just kind of are really able, and it's so interesting, the 2 cups here, and then you've also got 2 cups here. You're really able to synthesize a beautiful symphony in the respect of the dynamic that you have with other people, and allow time for that to occur. You know, with the 2 of Pentacles as well, it's just this really, like, it's a delicate balancing act that you have really got down to a T, and you're able to build some really great relationships from it, even if people don't realize it yet. So you've got, it's really quite amazing, pile 3. I love it. Okay, so then we've got the 5 of Cups reversed, and then we've also got the King of Swords. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. So with the 5 of Cups, it's interesting, because it almost seems to me like you've been let down by certain people before. You understand it. You understand when people haven't met you at your values, they haven't met you at your needs, and you know when to kind of walk away from this. And instead of becoming disappointed with this, you actually, and this is the whole thing, the 2 of Cups is present in the 5 of Cups reversed. It's seeing the 2 of Cups there. So you're actually seeing the value of what is still available. And that is actually what makes you so resonant with this Chiron card. It allows you to kind of see the things in people that they can't see in themselves. And more often than not, because of this lack of strength and this challenge of ego, they kind of go into this space where they kind of, they are like, they shut down completely, or they become like really kind of like, no, I can't deal with that. I can't do that. I can't, you know, I can't see things in the way that you're presenting to me. And you're like, it's okay. That's all right. And you fully understand that this is something that you may trigger in others. It's really incredible, pile 3. I love this. I love this a lot. Really do. You're incredible people, pile 3. So the Beaver, and it's reversed. So with that Beaver card reversed, I'm kind of getting that it may be a little bit difficult for you to kind of establish some stuff with people, because they're in this space of where they're trying to kind of like see themselves, because they can't see themselves in the position that you already are in. It's difficult for them to get there. It's difficult for these rivers to merge together so that they can become this one amazing sea, because that's the image that I'm getting in my head. So, and you want to kind of like go on that trajectory. You want to go forward with it, but they're just like, I don't know, I feel like there's doubt and stuff. So in order for you to be able to kind of, you know, kind of deal with that, is by you just being really confident, continuing to be really confident in who you are, continuing to be kind of really grounded in what you're doing. Because you're actually presenting something really amazing. I wouldn't be surprised that even upon meeting you, people change. Like people, they are enchanted by you, and they're fascinated by you, and they're like, oh my God. That's why, like, we've got this thing here where, like, it's almost a challenge of the ego. You just by being you makes people think, oh my God, I'm not at that level yet. And that's just keep on being you, keep on residing within your values, keep on like going to that space where you know that you're being truthful with yourself, because you're so stable here, path 3. It's really amazing. And then we've got Barachiel. So number 14. I mean, what I'm getting from this is kind of this overseeing energy from the picture itself. Like there's this overseeing energy, very, very nurturing, exceptionally nurturing. And it's interesting because even though we don't have the cancer card here, I do get a feeling of like very motherly, kind of Cancerian, caring vibes. Really, it's almost like you can see the kind of child that is doing the mistakes, and you kind of like allow them to make the mistakes so that they can understand their own selves and understand where they are, so that they can come back to you and meet you in that space where you saw them in the first place, where you see them, because I think also you see them in a space where they don't see themselves, and that's what's really intimidating. This is fulfillment, so it's time to bring some lightness back into your life and relationships. Put any difficult conversations and decisions aside for a while and enjoy time with your family and loved ones. So in the respect of like Leo being the card representing Leo's strength being reversed, there's almost like this need to kind of like lighten the load, like maybe do something that's like a little lighter. Maybe the intensity of who you are just really intimidates people, and that by like, do not dim your light. It's up to them to meet you in that space, and for them to grow into being able to meet you in that space. But it's almost like, they kind of like feel really intimidated by you. So it's almost like, how do I give them the space to be able to allow themselves to blossom into what it is that they're really meant to be? And I definitely feel that with a beaver, because like it's almost like giving them the time to really build their own home, to build their dam, so that they can be like, yeah, I build dams too, kind of thing. And then you've also got, let's have a look, is there anything else? So yeah, it's just being a supportive element to the people that you meet. This is in like, relationships, situations, whatever it is. I just feel like you're so self-assured. I feel like you've got it. Like you've been through stuff. You've got it really clear. And the kind of challenge here is to understand, well, that people are not able to meet you in that space. So just developing the patience to be able to do that. And by doing that is by getting to know them better, by getting to understand whether or not they can meet you there. Because some people may not be able to meet you there as well. Do you know what I mean? Not everybody, because they don't match in the same values as you, they might not be able to meet you there. And you understanding that about them is also part of the kind of evolutionary journey. There is an emphasis here that you do want to try and make everything quite nice with everyone, which is amazing. And I think it's a really beautiful quality. So yeah, just keep on going with that, I think. But do also understand that not everybody might be able to meet you there. But I think, I don't know, I've just got a feeling like you charm people into this beautiful space where they think that they're possible of it. Like it goes one of either two ways. They either think that they are intimidated by you and they run away, when they react like in a kind of like negative way, or they either just go like, oh my God, you're the best thing since sliced bread, and they just kind of embrace you, and then you may even end up mentoring them or something like that. That's kind of what I'm getting. So with inhabitiveness, we've got nomadism, nidification and reclusiveness. So it's almost like you encourage people to kind of get out of their shell and to come together. See, again, with that whole Cancerian thing, I'm getting that kind of idea of like nourishment. You kind of help people to see things outside of themselves. And that they have like a lot of amazing things that are within themselves, but there's also so much more potential that can be seen outside once they get really solid and really kind of, they are as in touch with themselves as you are. So if they can get to the stage where you are if they can get to the stage of what you are presenting to them, then so much can be possible. I hope that makes sense. And then you've got amativeness, which is attraction, licentiousness. I don't know how to pronounce that. And then obscenity. So again, it's that thing where people just shut down. Like, they tend to shut down because they can't really like, they can't really take what you're giving them. It's almost like the light is so bright that they just turn away, instead of like putting on some sunglasses or like shining at the same level of your brightness so that they can actually match you. So the main thing is here is just to be really, really mindful of that, but also to understand that I don't feel like you think it is anything to do with you, but if you do have any doubts in your mind that it is something to do with you, please do not dim your light or dumb down yourself. Please be really strong in your light, because it's really necessary. You do provide stability for those, the people who really admire you and really look up to you, will flock to you. They really will do. And others, they may get scared off. There may be people that just like, they meet you and then they're too scared. They're too scared to like communicate with you or to do things with you, because they're kind of like affronted by it. They're kind of like, it's something that's so alien to them that they can't even like be in touch with it. But it's only because it's something within them. So just be really strong in that and really respect that about yourself, because it is really beautiful, pile 3. Wow, amazing reading, pile 3. I really enjoyed that. Don't tell what the other piles, but I think this was my favorite. If you like this, please do give it a thumbs up. Please do subscribe for more videos. And also let me know your thoughts in the comments. I really do enjoy reading your stories. And also, if you fancy it, check out the exercise that I'll put in the description box below, about finding out your core values, and it's about a half-hour exercise that basically goes into like how you can find out your core values if you need to. But I'll be honest with you, I think that you've already got a good enough idea about what your core values are anyway. So yeah. Anyway, my darlings, you take care, and I'll see you in future readings. Bye.